What started as a part of the Wanganui Christmas Festival back in 1951 has evolved over the years into New Zealand's most popular motorcycle event. Sid Jensen and Dean Hollier were the winners on that occasion. Local hero Rod Coleman, the winningest rider in the day, taking 8 of the first 10 events. One thing that hasn't changed though, the Symmetry Circuit itself, and the fact that Suzuki has always had a big involvement in it. This increased in 2018 when the Suzuki Series started. Now the 3-round Suzuki International Series has its final round around the famous Symmetry Circuit each and every Boxing Day. Adding another level to this year's series were a star-studded group of international riders headed by Isle of Man stars Davey Todd and Peter Hickman. It was the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic, and the visitors were back in force. Round 1 of the series was held at the Taupo International Motorsport Park, and record numbers of entrants and a big crowd enjoyed the warm, summery weather. Among them, 2018 Robert Holden Memorial winner Peter Hickman. Peter Hickman, I guess it's welcome back to New Zealand.
Yeah, really good to be back. To be honest, it's great to be here. You know, sun shining. It's definitely not that warm at home.
Last year in 2018, the popular Englishman had made history in the Suzuki Series, riding for the Carl Cox Motorsport team. He qualified badly at the Symmetry Circuit, which meant he would start toward the back, would have to work hard to get to the front. Different to the heat races, the Robert Holden Memorial feature grids were determined by time, and this meant Hickman was close to the front row. Taupo's Scott Moyer had a whole shot and got away early, building a comfortable lead, and as everyone thought, looked to have the title in the bag.
Yeah, it's been, my first time here back in 2018 was fantastic, with the Carl Cox crew. Steve, Brian, who's still helping me even now. I met some great friends here at the time, and to be able to race in New Zealand was awesome, and to win the Robert Holden trophy was, it was the last lap, last corner thing. Bit thanks to Scotty, really rolling off a little bit too soon. He won't thank me for saying that, but thanks, mate.
The Englishman on the BMW, the Carl Cox Motorsport BMW, as close as you like as they come down over the Pirelli overbridge, and Hickman hits the front, and the checkered flag is coming out, and Peter Hickman wins the Robert Holden Memorial.
Yeah, it's something I'll never forget, that one, and probably will never do it again.
Yeah, it was a really good trip. I really enjoyed myself, and I've been wanting to come back since. Obviously, there's been lots of things happen, COVID and all the rest of it, and schedules are always quite tight for me. But we managed to make it work this year round, and really, really happy to be here.
Also returning to our shores, this time as an Isle of Man champion, Davey Todd. Davey, what an off-season here in New Zealand you've had. You came here as a British Superstock champion. You're here now as an Isle of Man champion.
Yeah, it's honestly a dream come true to win the Isle of Man TT races. It's something special. So to come here as a TT winner and British Superstock winner as well, and yeah, it's been a fantastic year for me. I just want to finish it off in the right way over here. I have a lot of good friends over here, Mitch Reese in particular, and I want to come out here and put the battle to him and have a proper race with him. And I never got a chance to do that last season, which I know wasn't me really. I know I was capable a lot more. So coming here this season with a bike from my new team, from the FHO BMW team, it's really cool to be able to ride my own bike over here. And with help from the iTools guys that are spannering on it and looking after it for me, we can hopefully get out there and challenge for wins now and sort out that unfinished business.
For the stars to make their mark on the Suzuki International Series, they would have to beat Team Rees, 31-year-old Mitch, a 3-time series champion, and his ageless father, Tony. Team Rees ready to go again in the Suzuki Series. Tony, how many years is this now?
Oh, too many for me to count, yeah. It's been some time, but hey, I love the series. Love coming here to have a ride, and hey, we've got a new Honda this year, so it always excites you a little bit more, and try and find a bit more pace to try and keep up with those younger guys again, and just to try and enjoy it, have some fun.
Mitch was fast right from the get-go, posting lap record speeds in qualifying.
Hey, say I had a great season last year. 5 new lap records and a whole bunch of poles and just race wins, and just had a good time. We had a good crew, the whole team, the Honda crew's real good, and we're just having fun.
Local Scott Moyer was back again, the past series multiple-time winner, riding the big Suzuki that ran second to Hickman in 2018.
Yeah, it's an old one, you know. I had a couple, and I just kept one just for, just because, you never know one day, and that day's come probably earlier than I thought. But it's going good so far.
Again, making the trip to Taupo, Christchurch's Alistair Hugenbosen on his Blue Crew Yamaha R1.
The goals for us has always been the national season, but it'll be nice to upset a few people in the Suzuki Series as well. So we'll wait and see. We've got a qualifying coming up soon, so hopefully get a little bit closer to that front row and go for it in the race.
A recent convert to the F1 Superbike ranks on the M1 Motorsport's BMW, past F2 standout Rogan Chandler.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change, and I'm looking forward to the challenge. It's going to be hard to kind of, rookie season and learn the bike and how different it is. And yeah, it's a hard year to go up because now it's so competitive, and we've got Peter and Davey. So I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Some racing action for you right after the break here on CRC Motorsport. Welcome back to the Cemetery Circuit for 2024. First action on the racetrack is the F1 Superbikes. And the points leader going into this, the third and final round of the Suzuki International Series, is none other than Whakatani's Mitch Rees. There is number 11, that is Tony Rees. There is Mitch, he's the points leader. A man that's trying to do something about that, lines up alongside him, that's Davey Todd. 56 is Rogan Chandler. Moving up to the Superbikes on the M1 Motorsport BMW. We get set to go, the lights will go out, we'll be racing for 8 laps. As we look in on number 42, and that is Reese Lindsay. Alongside him, one of the veterans, that's Ray Clee. Best of the starts, though, looks like it comes from the Englishman, and that is Davey Todd. You're on board with Todd here, looking out the back of the bike. There is the 92. That's Mitch Rees. He's a 3-time champion of the Suzuki International Series. Can he make it 4 here in the drying surfaces here at Wanganui? Had rain early on, but that's now gone away. It got very, very humid at one stage. You could see the steam coming off the road, but now conditions pretty much perfect. Davey Todd being absolutely monstered by Mitch Rees as they work their way into the Robert Holden trade zone corner for the first time. And Todd just overruns, and that allows Rees 2, and that's Tony. That's the 57-year-old veteran, has now moved into second place. So it is the son and father combination in the front. Over the Bridgestone Bridge they come, down heading towards the Marshall Motorcycle start-finish line. We take the dentist's overhead drone as they head down into turn number 1, and that is the Auto Super Shop of Tawa. Down the short chute they come and into sharp as line haul turn number 2 and out onto Taupo Key. That is the big straight, runs parallel with the river here. Through the Suzuki crossing they go and head towards the Emmett's overhead walkway bridge and into the GVS's. You're on board here with Mitch Rees once again, looking out the back. His father is filling up the camera leads. There he is, number 11, into the Robert Holden Memorial turn they go once more. Davey Todd back in 3rd place. Now you're on board here with Tony. He's looking back at Davey Todd. Now, our dentist's high-speed drone won't be able to keep up with the Superbikes as they head towards the Kiwi Bike Insurance Straight and into the trade zone corner. Meantime, down the front straight, the TSS Motorcycle Straight, they come once again and into the turn. They're lapping at around about 48 seconds and change. So the pace is very, very much on. And it's the Rees family at the front. 92 Mitch, 31 years of age. Number 11 Tony, 57 years of age. And wow, he hasn't lost any of his speed. In fact, he led the series coming out of round 1 in Taupo. So Honda's running 1 and 2. Davey Todd on the FHO BMW in 3rd place. And then it would be a distant Peter Hickman in 4th. Once again, we take the pictures from the dentist's high-speed drone as they work through the trade zone turn and into the Mondial VGL turns. and now heading for the Bridgestone Bridge. On board here with Davey Todd. Apologise for the condensation on the lens. It is still quite humid here at the cemetery. There is letter D, Davey Todd. Of course, he rode a BMW here last season. That was the M1 Motorsports BMW. Rogan Chandler is now riding that machine. And right in behind the D there, you'll see Peter Hickman, also on the BMW, the Hickman Racing BMW. 14 times an Isle of Man champion up against two-time champion Davey Todd. And Davey Todd did it all last season. You're on board here with Todd as he works his way into the trade zone Robert Holden corner. Once again, he's still a distant third as we take the high-speed drone through trade zone turn 2 and then out onto the Mondial VGL curves and toward the Bridgestone Bridge. Meantime, the race leader has crossed the stripe, so they're stretching them out and they are going fast. 5 down of 8. How fast are they going? Well, I can tell you that Mitch Rees has just smashed the record for the 1.6 kilometres around here. 1 mile in the old language. 48 seconds dead for Mitch Rees, so he's certainly not holding back. And speaking of not holding back, it looks to me like Peter Hickman is starting to run down Davey Todd. You're on board here with Todd. We go back to the front of the field. There is number 11, Tony Rees, inductee into the Motorcycling New Zealand Hall of Fame. 7 times a winner here at the Robert Holden Memorial. In fact, the Rees family accounting for 11 Robert Holden Memorial titles. 6 in the book now, and it's a flying formation for the Hondas at the front of the field. There is number 56, Rogan Chandler, has made the move up from the F2, the 600cc machines, up to the Superbike, running the M1 Motorsport RWR BMW. On board here with Rogan. Just in behind him looks to be number 42, Rhys Lindsay's on the Auto Super Shops of Taupo machine, number 42 there, sitting in 6th place at the moment. Meantime, no change at the front of the field. Still a Rhys parade. Mitch leading Dad Tony. Still number D, Davey Todd in 3rd place and Peter Hickman in 4th. This is in fact the battle for 5th and 6th. On board here with Mitch Rees as he heads down the front straight once again. No sign of the white flag, so plenty of racing still to go. In fact, 1 by my calculation. We're on lap 7 of 8. You're on board here with Mitch Rees. That's his father Tony in 2nd as they work their way down the Auto Super Shops of Taupo short shoot and out onto the Sharp As Line Hall turn number 2 and out onto Taupo Key. On board here with Davey Todd, that's Peter Hickman closing him down as they work down towards the railway crossing. Through the Suzuki crossing they go and now heading up into the GVS's. Taking the great pictures here of Peter Hickman, and yes, he is starting to close down his fellow Englishman. In fact, he picks up a lot of ground as they work their way through the Robert Holden Memorial and down towards the trade zone corner number 2. On board here, Davey Todd looking out the back of the machine as they work their way through the Mondial VGL curves and over the Bridgestone Bridge. This is a battle for 3rd and 4th. Just hear the electronic traction control working as they dial on the throttle. You don't see too many wheelies, you don't see too many black marks these days. All these modern bikes have pretty complicated traction control. You take the outside shot now as they work their way towards the Suzuki crossing once again, and Hickman within striking distance maybe of Davey Todd. No change at the top of the field though, heading down the versatile Builders Straight. Back on board here with Davey Todd. Hickman gets a little bit closer. Still got a little bit of work to do as he works his way through the Mondial VGL curves and out towards the Bridgestone Bridge once again. Checkered flag though is going to come out, and it's an unchallenged win for number 92, and that is Mitch Rees. In 2nd place it will be his father, and in 3rd place it will be letter D. But boy, it was a drag race right through. So Mitch Rees takes a win from Tony. Then it was Davey Todd, Peter Hickman and Rogan Chandler, and a lap record for Mitch Rees.
Didn't know I'd broken the lap record till now, so that's pretty cool. What's that, 3 years in a row I've broken it, so first one in the 47, so yeah, pretty stoked.
Well, the pace is certainly on here at the Cemetery Circuit. There's plenty more after the break. Sidecar racing made its Cemetery Circuit debut back in 1952. Run over two classes, F1 and F2, one of the F2 favourites, the number 28 rig. Guys, another Suzuki series about to start. I said to you, Trace, before, what have you been up to? Well, what haven't you guys been up to?
Yeah, we've been up to a fair bit. We've been obviously over to the States. We've done Laguna Seca over there and Barber. That was with Jo, and she's had a wee girl since then, so I had to find someone else, and obviously I couldn't get better than Kendall. And she's slotted in amazingly quickly. We've gelled really quickly, and yeah, everything's going really good. We're getting on the same lap times, so we're pretty happy.
Tracy and Jo were a formidable team, but with Jo on maternity leave, it didn't take long to find a replacement. Swinging for past champ Spike Taylor in last year's series in F1, Kendall was ready.
There are a lot of differences actually between the F1 and the F2, but honestly I couldn't have had a better way to do it because Tracy is such an experienced swinger as well as rider, and she swung on this exact bike. So we'd come in and she could say, put your weight here, try this, try that. It's like having a built-in coach. So it was really great because I basically gelled straight away because I had my coach on board and she's a great rider and we've been mates for years. So it's been really fun and nice to be able to help the team and just slot in and, yeah, have fun.
As well as having fun, it was about winning a class championship. The defending F1 champions are Auckland's Adam Unsworth and his passenger Bryce Rose.
The improvements we've made, we're really happy with, but they're just incremental. They're not. It's not one massive change. It's like I say, just some slight changes to the engine power characteristics, a pair of new shocks, and we're nearly there with it. It's improving every time we go out. So.
Last year we were fortunate enough to break the lap record here. And yesterday we were even faster in qualifying. So to go out and do it in the race was just something special. Just molded everything that we've been doing, the team's been doing on the off season, and then that sort of stuff, and it's just coming together. It's been a really nice weekend.
We're fortunate enough to have some really good sponsors on board that still want to be involved and help us out. And tyres are getting super expensive. You're looking at $760 for a rear tyre. They don't last very long.
There's something about Wanganui and Sidecars. The defending F2 champions are Wanganui's Dowmans, Peter and Michael. So this is race number 1 for the Carl Cox Motorsport Sidecars. 2 classes in one, F1, 1000cc machines. There is the defending champions. That is Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. There's the combination that should be chasing them all the way, and that is Barry Smith and Stu Dorr. Away we go, and it's the number 13 that gets the very best of the starts, and that's Phil Law and Angus Ravenswood on their BMW-powered LCR. They'll lead going into turn number 1, and that is the Auto Super Shop turn. Down the Auto Super Shop straight and on to Taupo Key. They'll come very shortly. 13 is the leader. Here comes the challenge though from the defending champions as they work their way through the Suzuki crossing and up under the Emmett's overhead walkway bridge and through the GVS's. And then down the versatile Homes and Builders straight, they'll come right into the trade zone Robert Holden turn. Hard on the brakes is the 13 of Phil Law and Angus Ravenswood. You're on board here with Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. They are the current champions, currently sitting in second place. Have a look at the vastly different lines as they come through the Mondial VGL curves and head towards the Bridgestone overbridge for the first of 8 times. Getting very, very close to the hay bales in the air fence there was the number 12, and that means that Barry Smith has got right back in this fight as well as we take the overhead shot from the dentist's high-speed drone as they come down the Auto Super Shop of Tawa short shoot and out onto the Sharp-As line haul turn number 2. You're on board here with Adam Unsworth, now domiciled in Auckland, but originally a Wanganui boy. And as I said before, there's something about Sidecars and Wanganui. 13 in the front, Phil Law and Angus Ravenswood, the BMW-powered machine. Then we go back to the defending champions. That's Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose on board here with Law and Ravenswood looking out the back. You just see how hard that Angus Ravenswood works here as he tries to get as aerodynamic as possible and give his best service to Phil Law, the pilot. Looking right into the face of Angus Ravenswood as they come across the stripe once again. No change at the front of the field. If anything, the 73, Barry Smith and Stu Dorr getting a little bit closer as they go back on board here as they work their way through turn number 1 and down the Auto Super Shop Tower short chute. Once again out onto the Sharp Airs Line Hall turn 2 and out onto Taupo Quay, heading for the Suzuki crossing now. Or the 12 just gets a little bit closer, just kisses the curb as they work their way up towards the Emmets pedestrian bridge. They'll go under that without any problems at all, and it's into the GVS's and heading up the Versatile Homes and Builders Straight. 12 closes the gap right up as they go through the Robert Holden Memorial, but so too does the 73, but then they don't get the good drive coming out of the corner, and as they head for Trade Zone 2, they're paying the price, or are they? Changing the line, slightly different there for Barry Smith. Has it worked for him? Yes, it has. Barry Smith goes diving down the inside, so we've got a new second place, and it is past national champion Barry Smith and Stu Dorr, and they're going to go straight into the front, and they do. They pick the pocket of Phil Law and Angus Ravenswood, and Angus Ravenswood and Law come straight back at them, and now shuffled back to third place is Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. So it's a race of changing fortunes, but it's the 73, the Carl Cox Motorsport LCR in the front. 13, Law and Ravenswood in second, and 12, the defending champions, the Metalcraft Roofing LCR Aprilia of Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose. Boss Engineering helping them out as well, as these three have cleared away. Next best would be Bert Walland and Isaac Taylor by the look of it, but they would be a distant fourth. Taking the high-speed drone shots as they head towards the Bridgestone Bridge once again. Down the TSS front straight across the Marshall Motorcycles start-finish line they go. 13 still in second place, but look at this. The Metalcraft Roofing, Boss Engineering, Aprilia starting to work on them. Down the inside they come as they head down into the Sharp Airs Line Hall turn number 2, using the camber of the road to make the pass stick, and it does just that, so we've got a new second place. Things a little bit uncomfortable there for Bryce Rose as they work through the Suzuki crossing now, but has the 73 bolted. Barry Smith and Stu Dorr on the Carl Cox Motorsport LCR. There they are in front, the red, white and blue rig. You're back on board here with Phil Law and Angus Ravenswood as they work their way out of Robert Holden. And then head down the Kiwi Bike Insurance straight into the Trade Zone corner number 2. Again, getting close to the air fence and the hay bales. Back on board here with Law and Ravenswood. Working their way over the Bridgestone Bridge, that's the top 2 in front of them. 73, Barry Smith leads it. Adam Unsworth is second. Is Unsworth getting a little bit closer? They're on board here with Tracy Bryan and Kendall Dunlop. Now they would be, I think, the leading F2 machine, and they would maybe be in the process of wrapping up the championship, because the defending champions, the Dowmans, had all sorts of problems at Taupo, and some of those problems continued at Manfeild in round 2 as well. So across the line they go. There is the 55. That's Pete and Michael Dowman. Right in behind them is the 28, and that's Tracy, and Pete Dowman's put it into the wall at turn 2. Wow, and that looked like a pretty hard impact. They're on board here with Tracy Bryan and Kendall Dunlop. They won't know what's going on behind them. This is what's going on at the front of the field now. Adam Unsworth right back in this fight. Barry Smith holds on to it. Through Trade Zone they go. Smith goes a little bit wide, and that's the little crack in the opening that Adam Unsworth was looking for. He goes straight back into the front as they head toward the Bridgestone Bridge once again. The lap's winding down here. 1 to go, and it's the 12 back in the front, the defending champions. 73, Barry Smith in second place. Back at 73, and then a distant third is still the 13, and that is Phil Law and Angus Ravenswood. And the red flag has come out, and I'm sure that will be for the 55 of Peter and Michael Dowman. Here it is again on the replay, and that was a hard impact. And Tracy Bryan just having a look at that as well. Here it is from the Carl Cox Motorsport number 28. Just got a little bit wrong, ran it wide, and luckily the air fence would have saved them. So the race is declared. Adam Unsworth and Bryce Rose are the winners. Barry Smith and Stu Dorr in second place, and Phil Law and Angus Ravenswood third. Welcome back to the third and final round of the Suzuki International Series, coming to you from Wanganui and the Cemetery Circuit. This is a super popular class these days. It is the Super Motards, and there's only 2 men in this, and one of them is letter D, and that's Davey Todd from North Yorkshire, and the other one is Wanganui's favourite son, just making his way to the front row on the grid, and that is Richie Dibbin. Both of them on DS Moto's RM450Zs, and I think number 3 there, Roger Bland, got a bit of a flyer there. Not too sure if they'll bring that back or not. Meantime, the racing continues. It is the 3 in the front. That is Roger Bland. They're on board here with Davey Todd. Davey Todd and Richie Dibbin have been knocking 7 bells out of each other in the 2 previous rounds at Taupo and also in Manfeild, and it's Todd that's gone to the front now. There is a New Zealand title on the line for this one as well, and these two have not been able to be separated. They both had crashes last year in the second round at Manfeild. No bad luck for them at all in round 2 at Manfeild this time round. Richie Dibbin's got a little bit of work to do there as he just comes up on his teammate, and that is Roger Bland. They're on board here with Richie Dibbin. Just up ahead of him is the 622, that's Ashley Luff-Scott on the Honda 450 CRF. Back on board here with Dibbin. Ahead of him is the number D, and this is Davey Todd. Well, he's certainly a target for punishment. He's riding all sorts of classes today. He's riding the F1 bikes, he's riding the Super Motards. I think you'll see him out in Formula 3 as well. He tells me he just loves riding his bike. He has a sneaky look behind just to see where the number 1 is with the red plate. That is Richie Dibbin. Both these two got their start in junior motocross a long, long time ago now. Davey Todd switched pretty near straight away to road racing. Richie took a while and then went through the 600s and then through the Superbike route. Now, of course, Davey Todd, a 2-time Isle of Man champion, a Northwest 200 Superstock champion, and a British Superstock champion as well. So he's got all the accolades. Richie Dibbin, well, he has been untouchable on our shores in Supermoto. You see just how close there that Davey Todd was to the edge of the track. The rear of the bike just stepping out as they work their way through the Auto Super Shops of Tawa, turn number 1, and then down into turn 2, heading down towards the Sharp As line haul straight, which is Taupo Key, and they're side by side. Now, save for a few cosmetic differences, these bikes are absolutely identical. Richie and his team at DS Moto have fine-fettled both machines to be in tip-top condition, and this is the result. You just don't know what you're going to get. Dibbin has a good long look on the outside as they head towards the trade zone Robert Holden Memorial turn. Can't make the pass stick for the moment though. It is the North Yorkshireman, Davey Todd in the front. Dibbin gets a little bit closer. Have a look, you'll see it from our the dentist high-speed drone, the different lines these two take. Down the front straight they come once again, the TSS motorcycle straight across the Marshall motorcycles start-finish line. You could put a blanket, forget a blanket, you could put a tea towel over these two. Although as I say that, Davey Todd just picks up a little bit of ground, but then getting great drive through turn number 1 is Richie Dibbin. You're on board here with Dibbin. It's Suzuki in the front. Chris Andrews might be going to play a part in this one if he wants to or not. On board here with James Clark on the yellow Honda machine. James is going to be in the mix as well, but really the crowd have come to see the top 2 as James Clark makes his way down the Sharp As line haul straight. His dad, Clarkie, doing such a good job in supporting Supermoto here at Wanganui for years and years and years. Now into semi-retirement, he's still there watching and cheering on all the runners. Back on board here with James Clark as he works his way into the trade zone Robert Holden Memorial. No sign of the white flag yet, but here comes the charge from Richie Dibbin. Tries to go round the outside as they head through the Auto Super Shop of Tawa, turn number 1. Does he make it stick? No, he doesn't, but he's a whole lot closer as they come down into the Sharp As line haul, turn 2. And now the challenge is on down the Taupo Key, probably the second fastest part of the circuit. It's still Davey Todd in the front. It's Richie Dibbin. Is he content to follow, or is he in a bit of strife? Can he not do anything more about it? You're on board here with Davey Todd picking off the lap riders. He goes way, way wide, and that allows Dibbin to get a little bit closer. There is nothing in this as they work their way through the Robert Holden Memorial turn once again, and then down the Kiwi Bike Insurance straight into the trade zone corner and out onto the Mondial VGL curves. Big thank you to Mondial for getting the bikes of our English stars, both Davey Todd and Peter Hickman out here. Both their British BMW machines. And big thank you to DS Moto and to Richie Dibbin and his team for giving the bike to Davey Todd. There's Davey Todd still in the front as they work their way to complete yet another lap. 1.6 kilometres around, 1 mile in the old language, and it happens pretty darn quickly. We've already seen track records in the F1 bikes to Mitch Rees, and I think we may be going to see one here in Supermoto as well. At the end of the series, a New Zealand championship. Is it going to be Richie Dibbin? He's the defending champion. Is it going to be Davey Todd? In and out of the Robert Holden Memorial, brought to you by Trade Zone. They come once again down the Kiwi Bike Insurance Straight and out onto the Mondial VGL curves. There is absolutely nothing in this. Gee, I'd like $1 for every time I've said that in a Supermoto race when these guys have been racing. You're on board here with Richie Dibbin. He's got the big drag race on. He's going to try and go around the outside once again as they head down into the Auto Super Shop turn number 1. Can't get it done. Is he a little bit closer? No, he's not really. Davey Todd with one eye in front of him and one eye behind him, just keeping his nemesis back there. Here comes the charge though from Richie Dibbin. He drives to the inside as they work their way through the Suzuki crossing and then falls into line step behind the D as they go under the Emmett's pedestrian bridge into the GVS's. Once again, laps winding down. If Dibbin's going to do something, he's having to do it soon. Oh, just about outbraking himself that time was Davey Todd. Is that the opening that Richie Dibbin needed? You're on board here with Dibbin, just about banging into the rear wheel as they work their way into the overhead bridge once again, the Bridgestone overhead bridge. A little bit twitchy on the back wheel there, white flag out. Now normally something snaps inside Richie Dibbin's head about this time and he pulled something pretty special out, and it's going to have to be pretty special because, as I've said, these guys have been knocking strips off each other for the last 2 rounds, both in Taupo and also in Manfeild. At the moment though, it's Davey Todd right in behind him, 1, and that is the defending champion, and that's Richie Dibbin. He gets a great drive out of the Suzuki crossing. Under the Emmett's pedestrian bridge they go and into the GVS's, heading down towards the versatile Homes and Builders straight. Is he going to have a look as they go through Robert Holden? He does. He tries to drive it up the inside. I don't know that Todd's got an answer. Yes, he has. He moves over, shuts the door as they go through Trade Zone and head down towards the Mondial VGL curves. There is absolutely nothing in this. I know I said that in the previous lap. Remember, they're running to the checkered flag. Is it going to be Todd? Is it going to be Dibbin? Dibbin getting as aerodynamic as possible, but I think Todd got there. And there was nothing in it, maybe half a wheel, no more. And Davey Todd gets win number 1 in the Bike Talk of Taumarunui Supermotos here at the 3rd and final round of the Suzuki International Series. Davey Todd is the winner, Richie Dibbin is 2nd, Mitch Rowe the veteran 3rd, and then it's Craig Scott and Will Young.
Every time we go out, me and Richie Dibbin's built both of these bikes here, and the one he's racing, the one I'm racing, and he's been putting it to me this year. He's been smoking me in the other races. We all have some really tight battles. I think it makes for some perfect racing when we're on 2 identical bikes out there, identical machinery, and yeah, it's just awesome. Massive thanks to Richie for giving me this bike to come over here and race.
I'll get my heart rate back under control. You can watch some ads and we'll be back with more action from the cemetery circuit after this. Class that had the crowds packing the fences at all the rounds with a pre-89, pre-95 post-classics, not only bringing back the bikes of yesterday, but the champions as well. Case in point, Daniel met him.
Yeah, last year I rode Suzuki Series was 2020, so it's good to be back. Got 2 good bikes to ride this weekend. Back on Suzuki, so yeah, it's good, awesome to be back here.
Met him, a past Superbike national title holder, was still in nappies when this bike was flying out of the showroom doors.
It's a GSXR 1100, it's a 1995 model, runs in the pre-95 class. It's just been built up this year. We haven't done heaps of racing on it, a little bit of testing, but yeah, it's an awesome bike. It's a delight to ride it. I've done a couple club days where I've had to run it in F1, and it's not too far. It's obviously a little bit here and there, but it's a very competitive package.
Some say a bit of a classic himself these days. Jay Lawrence has found himself a new home.
I had an interesting 2023, didn't do much racing, had a couple of life changes. Decided to do a little bit of classic racing at the start of 2024, and that didn't go well. Ended up with a broken ankle and a whole bunch of metalwork. So I've taken this winter to get myself back on my feet, literally, and get back to being here. So with Steve's help, we've ended up with a beautiful post-classic bike here, and we're ready to go. We're really starting from scratch. It is a fresh build. It's an old bike, but it's a fresh build. So starting off with all of the setup work out of the window, and we've just been putting it there.
When the series got to round 2 at Manfeild Circuit Chris Amon, there were a few missing, but the racing at the front was just as intense between the senior and junior bikes.
For me, this series is all about Wanganui. I've been saying to people, I've got 6 days of practice, 3 days here and 3 days at Manfeild before we get to Wanganui. So we'll call it a success on the back of that, but that's my focus.
The Inferno Design and Digital Post Classics are 2 races within one. Senior Classics are 601cc and above, while the Junior Classics are 600cc or below. Add in Pre-89 and Pre-95, and that makes 4 classes in one. So much great watching. At the front, it looked like the classic Lawrence versus Medham show. Doing his best to spoil that, Superman himself, Paul Pavlevich. As the race moved on, Jeff Crute was doing his very best to tail Big Bunch to the front on his big Kawasaki. Near the front, Jay put the inside move on Pav to move up into the top 4. The leading junior rider looked to be Derek Kattenberg, number 615 and son of Eddie. At the 3/4 mark, Medham had his Coleman Suzuki clear. The Carl Cox Suzuki of Lawrence was closing. As the top 2 threaded their way through the lap traffic, it looked comfortable for Medham. And that's exactly the way it turned out. The Coleman Suzuki taking the win from the Carl Cox Suzuki in second.
So first time on a dry circuit here for a long time, so just lap by lap started to feel more at home with the bike being a bit out of control in that.
Classics, mate. It's nice to have you in there. It's great to see you back on the track, man.
Cool, man. Thanks, Jared. Hope to see you again later.
Cheers, mate.
So 1 race down for the Pre-89, Pre-95 Classics, juniors and seniors. This one may be to decide the championship, because it'll come down to, will it be 37 Jay Lawrence, or will it be number 341 Dan Medham? 8 laps will decide it. Brought to you by Inferno Design and Digital. Away we go. The fly in the ointment could be letter D. That is Davey Todd. He's on the red Ducati, but it's the 37, the Suzuki, the Carl Cox Motorsport Suzuki of Jay Lawrence. It's going to lead it. Then we go back to D. Then we go back to Medham. There he is on the Coleman Suzuki GSXR 1000. And in behind him, it looks like it was Finn Harmon, number 613. Anything can happen. Jay Lawrence has got a little bit of a lead as they head through the Suzuki crossing. It's Medham up into second. Then we go back to Davey Todd, heading down towards the GVSs and the Versatile Homes and Builders Straight. They come, and there is absolutely nothing in this. Now, I said that Davey Todd and Richie Dibben had been knocking chunks off each other. Well, so too has Jay Lawrence and also Dan Medham. Both of them on big, powerful Suzukis. Both of them on the Pre-95 class. So it's 4 classes within one as they cross the stripe with 7 to go. It's the 37 in the front. It's the 341 of Medham in second. They put a little bit of distance between themselves and third place, and that's still Davey Todd. It looks like Paul Pav, Mr. Superman, through in fourth, and Jesse Stroud there on the Phase 1 Suzuki, letter L, would be the next one through, maybe in 5th or 6th. Medham starting to get a little bit closer, but it's Jay Lawrence out in the front. Jay's been around a long, long time, had a pretty checkered career. It's been halted many, many times by injuries. You heard him say in the interview, didn't do much last year, healing up from a fairly badly broken ankle and leg. But boy, when he straps onto a motorcycle, he has something pretty special. They certainly think that way on the Isle of Man, certainly on the Classics racing. So It is the big Suzuki of Jay Lawrence in the front. They're absolutely cleared out from the rest of the field. Davey Todd hasn't got an answer. Here comes Metham down the inside as they head down to the Auto Super Shop of Tawa, turn number 1. And have we got a new race leader? No, Jay Lawrence fights back and then runs a little bit wide, coming out onto the sharp as line haul straight, Taupo Key, and they are handlebar to handlebar, heading towards the Suzuki crossing, and it's Metham in the front once again. Jay Lawrence could reach out and touch him as they go under the Emmets pedestrian bridge, heading through the GVSs and down towards the Versatile Homes and Builders straight. There is absolutely nothing in this. Metham leads it as they work through the Kiwi Bike Insurance straight down into Trade Zone turn number 2 and out over the Mondial VGL curves and heading towards the Bridgestone overbridge. Metham leads it past Superbike champion of New Zealand, Jay Lawrence, who we ride with here in second spot. Across the line they go, the Marshall motorcycles start finish line and start another lap. Half distance. Has Jay Lawrence got anything for Daniel Metham? It doesn't look like it at this stage. Back in third, Davey Todd. Jesse Stroud has now made his way up into 4th place, and then it is number 4 on the Yamaha OW01, and that is Paul Superman Pavletics, a man that has won and run just about every class here at Wanganui at the Cemetery Circuit. On board here with Jay Lawrence, heading into the braking area for the Trade Zone Robert Holden Memorial turn. There's Davey Todd, and there's daylight in 4th, and we wait long enough, we'll see number 4, Paul Pavletics. So Jesse Stroud's lost a couple of spots in that little tussle, 2 by the look of it. That's him back in 6th at the moment. Just up ahead of him is Ivan Smith on the Honda 900. Now we go back to the front of the field, and Jay Lawrence is getting just a little bit closer to Dan Metham as they head down into turn 1 once again. This is the battle that we're concentrating on now. Paul Pav, no, he's got a little bit of work to do here because Ivan Smith is really starting to put the heat on. 971 is Nathan Jane on the Ducati out of Auckland. You're back on board here with Jay Lawrence as he works under the Emmets pedestrian bridge. Lap traffic is going to play a part in this one. This is a big, big field. Now, the thing you've got to do when you're a lap rider is hold your line. Don't do anything different. The fast guys will find a way by. That's what they've got to do. And you see Daniel Metham just getting balked there by the lap rider, and that's allowed Jay Lawrence to come straight back into this. In fact, he'll go round the outside as they head towards the Bridgestone overbridge once again. And Jay Lawrence hits the front, and there's still laps to run. Here comes the challenge from Dan Metham. 1 to go. We're on the last lap. Can Jay Lawrence pick the pocket of the man sitting in 2nd place? You look out the back of Jay Lawrence's Carl Cox Motorsport Suzuki, and it is Daniel Metham on board as they head down the sharp as line haul straight Taupo Key. And absolutely the gaps have closed completely. And once again, Dan Metham just balked a little bit by the lap traffic, and that's going to allow Jay Lawrence to just get a little bit of breathing space as they come down the Versatile Homes and Builders straight into the Robert Holden Memorial Trade Zone turn. They go once again. Looking out the back of Jay Lawrence's Carl Cox Motorsport Suzuki, put together by Steve Bryan. On board here with Jay. It's got a bit of a comfortable lead. Remember, he's running to the checkered flag this time round, and Jay Lawrence will see it first, and there's nothing that Dan Metham can do about it because he got balked by a couple of slow riders, and that was all that Jay Lawrence needed to get that winning advantage, and that's exactly what he's done. So a shake of hands between Dan Metham and Jay Lawrence brings to a close the Inferno Design and Digital Pre-89, Pre-95 Classics. Jay Lawrence gets the win, Dan Metham is 2nd, Davey Todd is 3rd, Jesse Stroud 4th, and Paul Pav is 5th.
You picked the pocket of Dan there. That was quite nice.
Yeah, I got lucky with the back markers, man. He got a shit break and I made a better deal of it, so pleased with that one.
He's got to be pretty happy. You go good around here, man.
Oh, I love it. It's just so much fun.
Well, we all love it, there's no doubt about that. Now come back next week here on CRC Motorsport for part 2. More Superbikes, more Sidecars, more F2s, more action you can shake a stick at. We'll see you then.